Okay, everybody, it's Michael E. Cullen II.
And I'm Sesame and Carta from the All Too Real 2 podcast. We're passionate about movies, TV, and pretty much all things pop culture.
Dive into the chaos of failed sitcoms, direct-to-video sequels, and the quirky realms of cinema and TV.
Join us every Thursday for your dose of All Too Real 2 entertainment.
We'll guide you through debates like whether Howard the Duck qualifies as a superhero.
Ponder if Larry the Cable Guy could be the new Rock or Schwarzenegger.
Discover if some shows and movies should have stayed in the cutting room.
Ever heard of a sitcom featuring that dictator with the funny mustache? Well, we watched it.
We're dedicated to unraveling the peculiarities of pop culture, sometimes with awesome guests.
So, if you're into the eccentric world of pop culture,
listen and subscribe to All Too Real 2.
Available wherever you find podcasts
and on Age of Radio.
Today's episode, welcome to the Coven. Enjoy. Welcome to the Age of Jeremy. I am the founder and CEO of Q Consolidated. We focus on investing and creating businesses in media and entertainment, finance, investing and insurance, education and e-learning, art, music and the humanities, earth and human sustainability and advancement, along with earth and space exploration and transportation. Our current businesses include 3T Warrior Academy, Q Financial, Age of Radio, and Merlin, to name a few. You can find me on all socials at Age of Jeremy, except on X, it's at Age of Jeremy Q, and on Facebook, it is Cesar Jeremy Quintanilla. There are links in the episode description. You can also find these podcasts on YouTube at Age of Jeremy. The only episodes that are not on YouTube are the lo-fi episodes, which you can only get if you join the podcast or subscribe to the podcast. So make sure that you subscribe to this podcast, like it, share it with people right now. If you are new to the podcast, this is all the trials and tribulations I go through to build my business empire, and I hope you pick up some wisdom along the way. I also have guests that share their trials and tribulations to become content creators and their adventures they have gone through to become entrepreneurs, which is what we will be doing today with our special guest. If you want to see Coach CJV's financial blueprint, there is a link to my link tree in the episode description. The Financial Blueprint is a warrior's guide to financial freedom, and it is absolutely free. So make sure that you check that out. Please also join my Q Consolidated channel and my Age of Jeremy Instagram account. I provide extra insight on the things I have going on in business and in my life. Hopefully you will find some wisdom in it. It is free to join. Also, make sure to check out ageofradio.com and see all the amazing podcasts we have. We have 3 new podcasts. 2 of those are OK Boomer and Killer Lashes. Links are in the episode description. And we have some new ones coming out here shortly. You can also join our amazing community of content consumers and content creators that are addicted to podcasting Facebook group. All people are welcome. All right, what do we have going on today? Well, today we're kicking back off our interviews. I have a great conversation with Betty Nuggs. Betty is a tattoo artist, and she is one of the owners of Coven Tattoo. She did my 31 tattoo that is on my hand, and she has done a lot of work for my friend Drea, and that is actually how I found her, through my wife and through Drea. And she seems to have a great spirit, or she does have a great spirit, especially after I met with her when she did my tattoo, and I wanted to have her on the show to talk about her venture into entrepreneurship, because a year ago, she was not an entrepreneur, and now she is an entrepreneur. And to find out what has gone in that time period, I was very intrigued with. I was also intrigued with that they refer to their collective as they refer to their business as a collective, or their tattoo shop as a collective. And the Coven is located in Phoenix, Arizona. And I love what the Coven website says. If you go to www.covenphx.com, that is their website. Make sure that you check that out. You can see all of their art. You can see the artist. But they say that they are a collaborative tattoo studio in Central Phoenix. They pride themselves, or we pride ourselves on providing our clients with a clean, inviting, and comfortable space where they can safely express themselves through the craft of tattooing. So make sure that you follow Betty Nuggs. It's Betty Nuggs _. You can follow Betty at Betty Nuggs _ on Instagram. You can also follow Coven on Instagram at Coven _Phx. There are links in the episode description. And here is my conversation with Betty Nuggs. All right, Betty. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really, really appreciate it. How's your day going so far?
So far, so good. Thank you for inviting me to be on your podcast. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no,
But
absolutely.
so far, it's going pretty good, staying pretty busy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I know that you do the tattooing, but you also have another job that you do. You had today off for that?
Yeah. So I actually requested the day off with my other job because I'm in the middle of moving.
Oh, nice.
And then trying to kind of get some clients in as well too before I start the full move. Yeah.
Cool. Are you moving into a new apartment or to a house or just
moving into a house?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So moving in. Yeah, and getting some roommates. So it's exciting.
Oh, that's really, really
It's gonna be a group of us.
Do you currently have a roommate now?
At the moment, I don't. So it's going to be different, but I'm excited. It's new change. It's new opportunities,
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, so if people that are listening don't know, you are a tattoo artist. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So I'm a tattoo artist. I've been tattooing for the last 2 years. I'm part owner of Coven Phx in Phoenix.
Cool.
We've been open since August 15th, but have been tattooing as a collective since August 2022.
That's really, really cool.
So we started out in a 400 square foot studio. And at first it was 3 of us, and then it turned into 5 of us. And we were just like, okay, we need to expand. We need to move forward. We need a bigger space. so that's how it happened.
So before we get into Coven and how like that piece kind of started, and more importantly, I want to talk a little bit more about like that you call your guys self a collective, because that's really interesting to me. But so when did you get into tattoos, and how did you start learning about tattoos, or like how did you get into tattooing, I guess? Because that's not like that wasn't your main career path. You also have another job that you do, but like was your whole goal to be a tattoo artist when you were growing up, or what did that look like?
So I mean, I've always wanted to be a tattoo artist, but didn't know how to go about it. The place that I currently work at gave me the opportunity to actually find an apprenticeship, which I did for about a year, and that's where I actually met my business partners.
Oh, nice.
And then we decided to branch out from there. I was also tattooing eyebrows prior to becoming a tattoo artist. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, did you get the bug to become a tattoo artist because you're like into art, or did you get your first tattoo and then you got like, because like when I got my first tattoo, like in my mind, I was physically 18, but like in my mind, when I got that first tattoo, I was like, I'm gonna get so many tattoos after this. And then like, I think you did my actually like 4th tattoo, and that was like you recently did that, but my first tattoo was like 22 years ago. And so like, did you get like a tattoo, when you turned 18, and then you're like, oh, I want to be a tattoo artist, or did you want to be a tattoo artist before you actually got your first tattoo?
So I wanted to be an artist before I actually got my tattoo. I was brought into the tattoo, I guess, lifestyle at a really young age. I went to my first tattoo convention when I was 8.
Oh,
and just loved it ever since.
So did your parents have a lot of tattoos? Like, were your parents into tattoos, or your people or friends, or like brothers,
like
sisters?
My family members had a lot of tattoos. My sister's dad loved tattoos. He was like all in it. All of his family's like has tattoos. I have a cousin back home that is also a tattoo artist and owns a tattoo shop back in El Paso as well too.
Got it.
So it's just kind of like something that like I grew up around.
Yep.
And it's always interested me. And I also love drawing, and I wanted to create a career where I could do what I love, where I didn't feel like it was a job. It was something that I enjoyed doing.
Right. No, that makes perfect sense. So you said El Paso. So every person, so is that where you were born and is that where you're from originally? Okay. So I don't know if I mentioned this I don't know if we talked about this when you were doing my tattoo. Cause, for anybody that's listening, Betty just did my recent tattoo, which is on my hand. And then I have like so many more ideas that I'm probably going to have her do more of here soon. It just depends. Like, cause now where I'm at in life, I'm grateful and fortunate enough where I could probably just come to you and be like, do all of these tattoos, but I don't want it to get out of hand like super fast. So I'm kind of like pacing myself. But anyway, so I don't know if you mentioned that you were from El Paso when you did my tattoo, but every time I hear El Paso, my favorite band or one of my favorite bands is At the Drive-In because they're from El Paso. So my question is, do you know the band At the Drive-In?
I actually do not. I'm gonna have to look them up.
Have you heard of the band the Mars Volta?
Yes.
Okay, so the Mars Volta, prior to being Mars Volta, they were a band called At the Drive-In, and so it's like post-hardcore music, so it's like post-punk music, I guess, whatever you want to call it. So if you have a chance, listen to At the Drive-In because they're all from El Paso, and so every time anybody mentions El Paso, the only thing that pops into my head is always At the Drive-In, and then I'm interested to find out if they have heard of them. So if you get a chance, if you like punk music or post-hardcore music, I guess you should definitely check out At the Drive-In because they're really good.
I mean, I love Mars Volta. They're really good. So I'll definitely check them out.
Yeah, no, they're really good. So you wanted to do tattooing from your family, and then when did you like what? And I don't want to like ask your specific age because I know that that's rude to ask women their age. But like when you turned 18. Is that when you went and you started like learning how to do tattooing, or how did you find the apprenticeship? Like, how does that process work?
So when you get an apprenticeship, you go into tattoo shops, you show them your portfolio, and you ask them if they are hiring for an apprentice, and then they have you, if they agree, then they'll have you come in and you'll kind of like do what they call quote unquote bitch work, which is you'll technically be working for free to get taught how to tattoo. Depending on the shop that you go to and the experience that you get, some people just take advantage of other people and just get them for free work, and they never actually pick up a machine or learn how to tattoo or anything. But I got lucky. I was actually able to learn how to tattoo, be able to actually maintain my current job and then my apprenticeship as well too. So I didn't have to quit my job because sometimes you have to be at the shop full time to do the apprenticeship. So I got really lucky on that one. But I'm 30. I don't mind. I'm not ashamed to say my age. It's okay. I just recently did my apprenticeship about 3 years ago.
That's so cool. So So once you got your apprenticeship done, then you started working in the place. Then you met the people that you are doing Coven with, right? Your collective. Yeah. And then the collective got a 400 square foot spot. And so I want to, before we've talked about that, I want to know more about why you guys call yourself a collective. Because I don't think that we talk enough in society in general about like communities and or collectives and how they are beneficial for business purposes too, when like you're all part of a group. So when you say the word collective, what do you specifically mean by that?
So with us being a collective, instead of just being seen as tattoo artists, we like to see ourselves as our own business is as well too. So like each artist is their own business, but at the same time, we all work together like a community to be able to either help someone come back into the community or to ask questions. We all share like art tips, or sometimes we even give each other like direction on certain tattoos. Like we don't like gatekeep anything as well. So that's why we wanted to be called a collective instead of a tattoo shop, because we don't want also the stigma of the tattoo shop to follow us as well.
Got it. So then when you guys branched off and got your 400 square foot spot, was the collective called Coven, or is your business called Coven? Or is it both?
The business is called Coven.
Got it. So like all the people that tattoo out of Coven, they're not all your business partners, but they all are part of the collective.
Yeah.
Got it. So go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No.
So the main three people, like the three of us that are business owners, it's Tim, Shay, and I. So we're the Coven. So the reason we called it Coven was because it takes 3 witches to create a coven.
Nice.
And at the time, it was 3 of us, and then it just started growing from there.
That's cool. So let me ask a question about that. So then, are you witches?
So some of us like are spiritualists. Other of us are into like brujeria or the craft as well too.
Yeah.
But mainly, it's just what we like to be seen as is a coven. Like we're just a group of 3 individuals that have the same beliefs when it comes down to tattooing, but also spiritually as well too.
Yeah.
So that's why we chose the name.
No, I think it's a fantastic name. In fact, that was one of the things that. So what happened? So Drea, who's my wife's best friend, who I've known for, I don't know, 25 years or whatever. So Drea, she has, she was telling me that like you guys had to move, and I brought this up when we were doing my tattoo, but I just want to bring it up again. So like she had told me, and this may not be the full story, right? But like she had told me that you guys had to move because the neighborhood didn't like the fact that your name was Coven. Is there some, what's the story behind that? Because I'm interested in that just from a religious / witchcraft conversation, I guess.
It wasn't the fact that we were called Coven. It's just all of us dress differently. So we all dress in black. Mainly the majority of us are like, alternative. So a few of the tattoo artists were outside, and I guess they were creating a wreath out of thorn, and it was a really big wreath.
Got it, yeah.
And Shay decided to set something on fire in the center of the wreath.
Which makes sense. Good.
And
yep.
yeah, and I guess one of the neighbors saw, and they got upset, and they said that we were performing witchcraft outside because supposedly everybody was chanting the fun song, or I think it's the friend song from SpongeBob.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So there were all.
So there was chanting. So there was a chanting going on along with the burning of the wreath. Okay. So,
and then it didn't help either that we were attached to this neon pink building on the corner off of 16th Street, and then we painted the whole backside where we're at black, and then we painted witches on the side of it. So it didn't help. But yeah.
That's funny.
That was one of the reasons on why they called the city to check to see what we were doing, because they didn't want it to affect the neighborhood, which I guess it's understandable. But
so two things. One, the reason why I'm interested in that is because my business partner, he's very spiritual. So right now he's in Peru doing plant medicines and going through a spiritual experience. But That's awesome. Also does like a lot of the content that he does on TikTok is about, like kind of more geared towards maybe type of conspiracy stuff where like the elites, there's a group of elite people that control what's happening to us and all this stuff. And so what ends up happening is people usually think that he's part of like a Freemason group or like of an Illuminati group. And so, so whenever people say stuff like that, because I have for my whole life been super interested in occult and religious and spiritual stuff. And so whenever people say stuff about that, I exasperate the situation. So like I will agree with them for fun that we're part of the Illuminati or try to like add on things because of how ridiculous people make certain things sound. And so like when Drea told me that story, I was like, one, I want to be around those people, right? That's why I was like, oh, I'll get my tattoo with them. One, and then two, in my mind, I was thinking like they should do all other kinds of ritualistic stuff just to piss off everybody that's in the neighborhood for that one reason. And so to me, I find that type of thing humorous just because of different religious, like I guess religious beliefs that people have. That if you were doing that in the parking lot anyways, you have every right to technically do that with the freedom of religion,
Yeah, which is something that Tim was really upset about as well too, for the fact that they said that we were doing witchcraft and that's why they wanted us out of the neighborhood. But we just didn't want to start any issues or like get into any problems,
right?
Because the lady that we were originally renting space from It was super sweet, super kind. So we didn't want to cause any issues for her business as well too.
Right, which is the actual
So,
respectful adult thing to do in this situation.
yeah,
Not anything that I would
yeah.
have done. But
Eh,
but no,
I know
that's
everybody's like,
that's really nice of you and very compassionate
yeah,
and respectful.
yeah.
So was that like the catalyst of why you went and moved to your new space, or were you planning on moving to a bigger space anyway? Or because I guess
So we were,
was that the 400 square foot place? Or was that
yeah.
okay, got it. Yeah.
So it was a smaller space. So we were originally planning to move in August, but we found out that there was some paperwork that was being missed by the person that we were subleasing from. And the city was like, hey, you need to pay $1,300 for a permit to be able to work out of this building. And since we were subleasing, we weren't going to pay for it. It had to be the person that we were leasing from.
Got it.
Yeah. So they gave us, from my understanding, I guess they sent that letter out a month prior to, but we didn't find out till a week before we had to move out or the city was going to shut us down.
Right.
So that kind of like lit a fire under our asses, and we like moved into the space that we have now.
Nice.
So it all worked out. So it is all for the best.
So I can't remember, was one of the people that were there. So, and there may have been more people in the back when you did my, and you might not even remember it. When you did my recent tattoo, were any of the people that were there in the front that were, one was doing, was tattooing someone, the other person was sitting. Were either of those your business partners, or were they not there?
So my business partners, I think Shay was in the back.
Got it.
Normally Tim and Shay are in the back. So how we have our tattoo shop set up is in the front room, we have 5 artists, and they're the ones that want to take in walk-ins. So it's myself and 3 other people or 4 other people. And then in the back room is everybody that just does appointment only. So Tim and Shay are in the back along with Jen, Addie, and Jamie.
Nice.
As well. So
there was a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So yeah. So usually like on the weekends we're like really busy. It's a full house. Everybody's here. But Tim and Shay are my business partners, and then Jamie and Addie came along after we moved into the space, and that's when we decided that we needed to move out because 5 people in a 400 square foot space was not doable.
Yeah. So then do the other people, do the collectives then rent space from you guys to do their work there, or do you just let them do their, okay, got it. So you guys own the business, you guys pay the rent, and then the collective can rent space there to do their work in a safe environment, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of something that we wanted to do a little different than most traditional like tattoo shops. Other places do per percentage. When a tattoo artist is there, they pay a cut to the shop of what they tattooed that day. We just decided to do booth rental instead and just make it like somewhat affordable, so everybody's like comfortable with making a certain amount of money and not having to like, barely make it to like get food on their table, but they have to pay like so much in rent. So
that's awesome. I think that's really, really, that's awesome that you guys did it that way. So what's some of the things that like, so this is your first business that you've had then, was the tattoo place. So tell me has that experience been for you? So your business partners, did they own a business before that, or did you guys just come together to do a business together?
We just came together to do business together.
Okay.
So first we started off as friends, and then we just decided that the place that we originally were at it just didn't go with what our beliefs were and how we saw like our tattooing careers, like the route that our tattooing careers were going in didn't match or align the old shop.
So what is that? What does that, the beliefs mean? And you don't have to call out the other shop, but like what was the alignment of the beliefs? Like, can you give me an example of that? Like, what was something that they believed was the way that you guys like, no, we want to do it this way. We think this is a better route.
It was mostly, let me see, like, how do I word this properly?
Yeah, and that's why I was saying, like, you don't have to like call them out or anything like that, but I'm just trying to like kind of see, just for, I guess for my own, like my own understanding.
perspective.
Yeah, my own understanding one. And then if
Yeah.
anybody's listening, I think it's good to kind of see like how, people can see one thing, have a difference, and then that could be the catalyst for them to then go start their business based off of because they thought about doing it a different way or something.
Yeah. So we just wanted to be more accessible. So if someone had questions on becoming a tattoo artist, so my tattoo shop or our tattoo shop is an LGBT owned shop.
Nice. Cool.
So we just wanted to make it a comfortable in like, I don't want to say safe space, but a comfortable space for the queer community, for anybody to come and get tattooed at and just feel comfortable, not judged, not looked down on as well too. But also for people that are wanting to start tattooing. It's very scary to go into a tattoo shop, and it's super intimidating, especially if you're queer, to go into a tattoo shop and say, hey, I want to learn how to tattoo. Super intimidating. The energy is just different. I don't know how to like explain.
No, I think that makes sense 100%. So like, so the energy and the frequency or the alignment or the vibration or whatever you want to call it is just different. And that's what you're trying to change so that can be more of an inclusive environment for all people.
Exactly.
Got it. No, that makes 100%. That makes perfect sense. That's awesome. So what's been the hardest thing for you starting your business? Like what's like if you can think of like the hardest part of doing this, what's been the hardest part about starting your own business? Because I mean, that's a pretty big undertaking if you've never done it before. Just like, okay, we're tattoo, or let's me, you, and this other person, let's go and figure out how to start a business together and then start it.
Well, I guess like the hardest part would probably trying to get all three of us to see eye to eye on certain things or be like on the same page about everything, which I mean, everybody always told us, they're like, oh, working with business partners is a lot harder than working on your own because you have to like, go through everybody before you make a decision.
Super, super true. Very true.
Yeah. So that has been a little difficult, but at the end of the day, we always come to a conclusion and we always agree on what we need to do, what is best for the shop to move it forward.
Yep.
As well too. Yeah. But it's trying to kind of like get everybody on the same page, which is the most difficult part.
Yeah.
So that's that.
So then since you guys, you guys have like with your profits of the business, then if there are, so like, do you guys pay yourselves a paycheck or do you just take what you guys get from your clients? Like, how does that part work? Or do you, so like for me, the money that I gave you for the tattoo, did that just all go to you or did you put that into, or does that go into a bucket for the business? You pay your expenses that need to be paid and then you guys take cuts. Like, how does that process work for what you guys are trying to do and accomplish?
Yeah. So at the current moment, we pay rent as well too. So a portion of what we make still goes into the shop.
Got it.
At one point, hopefully, we want to expand the shop, and once we get there, hopefully at that point we can start profiting from it.
Got it.
But our main goal isn't really to profit out of. It's just mainly to kind of like grow and change the tattoo industry in a way.
Yeah, and so
to make an impact in the tattoo,
which is really interesting that you say that because obviously you don't like we just met not too long ago, so I don't know if you like follow me or listen to anything that I say ever. But like the thing that I'm always adamant about whenever I'm talking with people or educating people or anything is that if you find the passion point of why you're doing the thing that you're doing, that's where you're going to gain the most amount of wealth from what you're trying to do. So like what you said right now is the most important thing that any entrepreneur or any business owner can have is that you have a mission that's more important. Like you have like a universal mission that you're trying to accomplish with the tattooing. So when you can focus on that, then all of the other stuff will come with it because of the fact that your goal is so far above the goal of me saying, I want to go start a tattoo parlor so I can make a profit from it. Right. So I think that that's really cool that you guys have that as like a vision for what you want it to be. And that the money aspect, while yes, doing tattooing full time, which you will all get to that, I truly believe, based off of the conversations I've had with you, is that your mission is going to take you further because that's so much more powerful than just trying to get a profit. So
Yeah.
I think that's really awesome that you guys have that. Do you guys have like something that you got like a mission statement for your business that you guys have written down, or you guys are just kind of like all in the same idea that this is where we want to go, this is what we want to represent, this is what we want it to be?
So I think we do have a mission statement, and I think it would be on our website.
Got it.
But we are all on the same page of what we're wanting. Even
Yeah.
everybody that like is subleasing from us as well too, and that we're working with, we all have that same mindset of wanting to make that change, wanting to make that impact on the tattoo industry to make it a little bit more accessible, a little more comfortable, as well too.
Yeah, and I have to say, just like
Yeah.
if you doing, because I hadn't had a tattoo in a long time, but
Mhm.
it was super easy just like to reach out to you, talk to you. Like it was super comfortable doing it.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, just the whole experience. And again, you know, I'm not part of the LGBTQ community, but I'm a supporter of it and an advocate, or what's the word? Like an alliance,
ally?
an ally. Thank you. Yes, an ally for it. And so, obviously, because most of my friends are in that community as well, so the
Mhm.
hardcore ally because of that. And so I think that the environment that you guys have created and the ease to do it and the helpfulness of it was really, really beneficial. And I think that that's one of the cool things that I think sets you apart. And also too, like the last, and I haven't gotten a tattoo in a long time, so maybe I'm just old in that regard. But like I guess the environment was much different doing it with you guys or with you than in any other experience that I've had. Right, because it was more of a joyful experience, where before it felt like a work experience. Like, does that make sense? Like it was, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if I'm getting that across just from the because I'm trying to think of when I got my last tattoos. It wasn't it wasn't a fun experience. It was just like I just got a tattoo. Like, does that make sense? Where like me and you were
Yeah.
talking throughout it, we had good conversation. We were able to do this afterwards, and I think that was much better than any of the other experiences that I had.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. That makes me very happy to hear that, because that is our goal. We want you to feel comfortable to get a tattoo. We want you to want to come back, and even if you're not getting tattooed, just come in and hang out and you know, ask questions. Like we don't mind.
That's
Like
really
we want it to feel like a home away from home.
Yeah. No, that's
In
really
a way.
that's really cool, Betty.
Yeah.
So what's the plan? So you said that the plan was to grow it. So is the plan just to have more people keep coming into there, or to have a second location, or what is that business plan look like? And then how are you trying to manifest
Yeah.
that or trying to get that to happen?
So our goal is to actually get a second location.
Got it.
We actually want to start looking for a permanent place. So we want to buy out our own building as well too,
Got it.
and to make that the permanent location, and then from there like branch out. At one point, we hope to branch out everywhere in Arizona and then outside of Arizona. So just to kind of bring the collective everywhere for everybody to like enjoy in a way.
It's really cool. So what do you guys? So did any of your other partners have business experience, or is this everybody's first business?
Yeah, no, this is everybody's first business.
So what are some of the things that you do to like for resources that you guys have looked into, and maybe you haven't done any, which is perfectly okay.
Mhm.
But like, do you guys do research on marketing and sales and like like is there like how did you learn about how to do business from wanting to do it, or did you just kind of like piece stuff together along the way? Which both are fine. I'm just curious.
Yeah. So a little of both, but we've had an amazing group of friends. Also, like a lot of our clients as well too. Either they do marketing or they own their own business. They've all come together to kind of like help us out. Me working at the gym that I work at, I was able to like meet with people that were able to give us advice on what to do. We did get a business consultant in the beginning as well too that worked there at the gym. A friend of mine does our marketing, and he has his own marketing business as well, and he's helped us a lot with that. So we've just gotten really lucky and very like I guess you could say blessed with having such a good support team, and they're like, here, we'll show you how to do this.
That's really cool.
So
that's awesome. Yeah, and that's interesting too, because a lot of people don't realize that like if you for anybody that's trying to start a business or interested in that, if you just look at the people that are around you, you will find that you probably have more resources than you think that you have, and all that it takes is just to ask. And what I've found is most people are willing to help other people.
Yeah, especially if there are other like small business owners or just business owners in general, they're willing and wanting to teach
Yep.
as well too. They won't give you like freebies, but they're gonna show you, hey, this is what worked for me. Maybe you should try this, or
Yeah.
don't do this because it didn't work. Which a lot of it is trial and error, which is what we're slowly figuring out as
Yeah,
well
most
too.
of it, a lot of
Yeah.
it is trial and error. Especially if
Oh yeah.
because even if you get something that someone says worked for them and you try it, it doesn't necessarily always 100% mean
Yeah.
that it's going to work for you either. So I think a lot
Yeah.
of it is really good trial and error. So that's really cool. So now that how long have you? I can't remember the time frame that you said. When did you guys start Coven? How many years ago? Or
So
this year in August?
it's good. It just turned a year. Coven itself just turned a year in August.
Got it. So
Yeah.
how has it been working? So I'm assuming, do you work full time at the gym, and then you also like how what's the schedule look like for you being working still and then also running your business?
So I'm working 24/7.
Yeah, that's what I
Um,
figure, but I'd
I
imagine you're
I
just always
yeah.
working. So
Yeah. But with my other job, I work part time. So I work from 9 in the
got it.
morning to 3 in the afternoon, which is awesome. And then I can tattoo in the evening. Mainly, a lot of my tattoos right now are appointment based. So that helps me manage my time a lot more.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a lot easier. Yeah.
So how hard has it been to get a client base going
Um,
for you, or for anybody, I guess?
so I mean, for anybody, usually, especially if you're first starting out tattooing, you're not going to make ends meet
Yeah.
off of tattooing alone. So you're going to have to get a second job or do something part time on the side that's going to make you money. It's a lot of word of mouth. It's a lot of patience and a lot of putting ads out on Instagram, talking to people. Like networking helps a lot as well too.
Yeah, because like
So
it's different than probably other sales techniques go, because like you probably just don't call people up and be like, "Hey, have you thought about getting a tattoo recently? Come and check me out." So you kind of have to
yeah.
go to where people already enjoy tattoos and then them seeing your work. Like I imagine tattooing conventions are pretty big or
Well,
important,
tattooing
or
conventions are really big, but technically, like as a tattoo artist, you are your own walking billboard in a
right.
way. Because automatically, what's going to happen is someone's going to see you on the street. Your tattoos are going to grab someone's attention, and it's going to spark a conversation. And they're going to ask you, "Hey, where did you get this done?" Or um, when you have a lot of tattoos, which was new to me, everybody was like, "Oh, are you a tattoo artist?"
Yeah.
And that's how the conversation starts. Also too, like sometimes just sparking up a conversation with someone that has a tattoo and you just ask them, oh, where'd you get your tattoo? Or just starting a conversation just to get to know them, and then just kind of wiggling it in there that you're a tattoo artist, and
Got it.
that's how you get the word out there too.
Got it. So,
Hmm.
so what what's your timeline? Or if you guys have talked about it, what's like your main timeline to get the second place up and running? Or do you have that part planned out? Or how do you guys come together to plan like how you're gonna grow the business?
So with the next spot, we're probably going to wait maybe about another year or two
Got it.
before we fully start um, looking or investing. We want to build up the place that we have right now, and then kind of start looking into making a plan of what we're going to do next
Got it.
as well. Because we're still trying to figure out what we're doing at this location and
Right.
trying to like work with multiple people. And we just opened August 15th. So it's still
Right. So it's
really
very
new to
new.
us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're
Things
just like,
take
hey,
time.
let's
Yeah.
learn with this first and then we'll plan to move forward. But we always kind of have like, I guess, like a set goal. So hopefully in the next 2 years, we'll be moving forward and at that point be able to either work on purchasing our own like space or just moving into a bigger space. So we'll see what is planned out for us
Nice.
by then.
What's
Mhm.
what was the hardest part for you about like doing the tattooing? Because like tattooing, like what was the like? Was it, I don't know. I guess getting the stencils, like doing the stenciling, then like doing the actual inking, or like what was the hardest thing for you, and what was the easiest part for you?
Um, For me, I guess just kind of getting used to different machines because I was doing eyebrows before. So I was already tattooing prior to actually tattooing. So I was doing cosmetic tattoos.
Yep.
So just kind of getting used to the different size machines, the different types of like, I don't know. For me, I guess it's just the different types of like machines having to like stencil, pulling lines is different as well too. Learning how to whip shade differently with a certain machine than what it was with a cosmetic machine as well.
Got it. Well, how old were you when you started getting into the tattooing of the eyebrows?
Oh, I was 26, I think. I think I was 26.
So how long have you been in Arizona? Or like what caused you guys to move to Arizona from El Paso?
So I've been here for 9 years. I originally was a medical assistant and I moved out here for work.
Got it.
So yeah, so El Paso at the time when I graduated from school, they were paying medical assistants $7.25 an hour, and I was like, no, we're gonna move somewhere else.
You're like, yeah. Nope, that's not gonna do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had an uncle, and I've never been to Phoenix before. He's like, just move out here. Like they'll pay you more as a medical assistant, and I've been here ever since. And so far, Arizona and Phoenix have been really good to me.
So when you came here, were you by yourself? Like, did you live by yourself, or were you able to live with any family? Like
I was able to. So I was able to live with my uncle.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. That still has to be scary though, like coming to a new place all on your own for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I was ready for change though, but it was kind of scary, a little nerve-wracking because the only person I knew was my uncle.
Yeah.
And, later on I started like gaining friends, and as you get older, making friends is a lot harder.
Oh my gosh, it's the worst.
So, yeah. Yeah. But I got lucky, and I have a really good like friend group, and then of course with like Tim and Shay as well too. Like it just all panned out.
Yeah. It's cool. So what's your favorite tattoo that you have?
That I have?
Yeah, what's your favorite tattoo? Because you have quite a bit.
So I have my full sleeve done.
Yep.
I have a full sleeve. I have Hecate on my shoulder, Lilith on my forearm, and then I have Kali on my hand.
Sorry, not to laugh. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at you. But
no, you're good.
So Lilith, that's the same. I guess, goddess we would use. That's on the Starbucks mug, right?
No, I don't know who they used on the Starbucks.
So there is a TikTok of a pastor. It's a short form. It's a short video of a pastor saying that you're not allowed to take Starbucks into his church, and he refers to it as Lilith, but I'm not 100% sure who it is. And so that it's a demon that's on the Starbucks mug. So he will not allow it in the church. And the guy who's doing the video, the pastor's talking about that. And this guy's like, listen, it cuts back to him listening, and he's got a Starbucks mug and he's drinking it like right as he says that. And he's all, if you find it, it's pretty funny. But anyways, that just reminded me of it when you said that.
That's funny. So that's cool. That's funny. I've never like actually looked at it as that it was like a demon.
Oh no, I haven't either. I thought it was the most ridiculous thing in the world, and not to like. But anyway, it just reminded me of that.
That's fine.
So, okay. So what were some of the other ones, or those were your main ones that you liked the most?
Yeah. So those are the main ones. I mean, I do have like a 1950s pinup with an octopus head.
Oh, that's cool.
On my other forearm, and then a zombie Snow White on my left shoulder.
That's so cool. So did any of the people that you work with do any of those, or did you have those from before?
So my hand, Tim actually did it.
Nice.
So Tim did my Kali on my hand, but all my other tattoos, I had them prior to tattooing.
Nice. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Was it someone in your family that did it? Because you said someone in your family had a tattoo shop.
So the 1950s pinup with the octopus head, my cousin Bobby did it.
Got it. That's
in
cool.
El Paso. Yeah.
Nice. So then what's the favorite tattoo that you have done for someone?
For someone, it's gonna have to be the little bat ghost that I did on Andrea.
Oh no! Oh yeah,
'Cause it's super, like, colorful.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that one by far has been my favorite. All of the tattoos I've done on her have been my favorite because they're so colorful.
Yeah,
And I love doing color.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love doing color and like bold line work. So I always enjoy doing her tattoos.
Yeah. No, what was
and she
funny?
always gives me like good ideas too. So
Yeah, well, what was funny, what was interesting was that after you had told me that most people are doing like black and white tattoo or black tattoos, I guess, and not doing a lot of color. Every time I've like seen someone with a tattoo lately, I've noticed that like there's not a lot of color in a lot of tattoos. So it was just interesting that you said that. And then when I'm noticing it, I'm like, oh yeah, there are not a lot of tattoos with color that I'm seeing. So is that just because of like a fad, or is that just, I don't know.
So I don't know as of right now if it's a fad. I mean, black and gray has been very popular, and it's really popular here in Arizona, especially in Phoenix. Also, traditional is very popular. But hopefully there'll be more like, vivid colored tattoos or just colored tattoos that are going to come up soon. So
that's cool. Just a few. So what are some of the things, just to learn more about you? Like, what are some of the things besides tattooing that you enjoy doing? Like, what are some of your hobbies and things that you enjoy?
As of right now, it's tattooing. Trying to manage the business.
Yeah.
Right now, I have no hobbies. The shop is my hobby.
Okay, so if you had extra time, where would you be spending your time?
Usually I like go to like the farmer's market. I like to work out, so I'll be at the gym most of the time. Yeah. But I do mainly just like hanging out with my friends, maybe going for drinks here and there.
That's cool.
Just normal stuff.
Normal adult stuff when you have time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When I have time. But usually lately with the move and the ordering and having to get everything set up, and I just haven't had time. To like do anything. Yeah.
So where can people learn more about you? Where can they learn more about Coven? Where can they go on social media to find you guys? So we do have a website, and it's coven.phx.com. But it's also on our Instagram as well too. So if you just Google coven.phx, it should pop up, and then also on Instagram. Got it. For me, I don't have a personal website, but my Instagram is Betty Nuggs. Got it. _ Cool. And you could just like shoot us a message if you're interested in getting a tattoo, or if you have like any questions. Currently, we have Tim managing the social media. So, and he's pretty fast at replying to messages and kind of like getting people in. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So, other than that, is there anything else that you want to let anybody know about you or Coven or anything? No, I mean, pretty much like, just come in, check us out, come and hang out. Where's Coven? Where is it located? We probably should put in that in there.
Yeah. So we're located in the Arcadia area of Phoenix. So we're off of 24th Street and Thomas. Okay. So right by the 51, across from the 202. Cool. So like we're right off the freeway. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully either this or something adds more business to you guys, and that's amazing. Well, yeah. So that's everything that I had. So I appreciate you, Betty, for coming on and spending the time with me. We'll have to do it again. If you want to come back on, or if you and your business partners want to come on, I love having these types of conversations. And I think most people that listen to this that are interested in business or being an entrepreneur, not only is it motivating, but then it's also maybe they can get some wisdom from that as too. So I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. I hope you got some wisdom from an entrepreneurial or content creation standpoint. Once again, make sure to follow Betty on Instagram at Betty Nuggs _. That's Betty NUGGS _. And follow Coven at Coven Phx. That's at Coven PHX. If you are in the Phoenix area, make sure to check them out for your next tattoo. And as I always say, be thankful, grateful, and kind. The corner store is selling spit. Bottled up for coffee. I can't believe I'm buying
Thank you so much for joining in to the Age of Jeremy, or tuning into the Age of Jeremy. Make sure that you like and follow and subscribe or whatever to this podcast. Rate it, whatever you choose to rate it, and also share it with as many people as possible. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. The opening song was Brave Faces Everyone by Spanish Love Songs. The closing song was Illuminati Hotties Threatening Each Other, Recapitalism. I use Neumann microphones. I use my Zoom L8. I record onto Cubase, and I use Waves plugins. And one more time, be thankful, grateful, and kind. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.